What is good? What is up, everybody? You are tuned in to the All Pro Nation podcast live right here on the All Pro Nation Radio Network. I'm your host, Chris Smith, joined as always by my good friend Tanner Weber. Tanner, how you doing, man?
I'm alive and well. I'm doing good.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. I'm feeling a little under the weather this evening, but we're going to make this happen.
Man, you're always sick.
You know, I got really bad
What's wrong with you?
Allergies, man. Allergies.
Hmm.
Freaking Louisiana. I hate it.
You actually hate the state that you live in?
No, I love it. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. Oh, no, I take that back. I'd like to live in Colorado or Florida. But I do
Or you could come live in Glendale with me.
No, I'm good. I'm good, sir. I'm good.
No humidity.
Way too hot in the desert. All right. Anyways, enough rambling. Tanner, got some exciting news, but we're not going to announce it on the podcast. We're just going to tease about it.
What?
But there is a new sponsor coming to the All Pro Nation Radio Network. It's kind of exciting.
That's what I'm talking about.
What's that?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So we're not going full into it yet, but we do have some details coming, and you are gonna want to know more about it as soon as we get closer to football season. It's super exciting. So we will be having a special show where we announce that coming up in a few weeks. So y'all stay tuned for that. A lot of good stuff happening here at the All Pro Nation Radio Network. And tonight we are continuing the looking ahead at the each NFL division, and tonight we have the AFC West on tap, so that's going to be fun stuff.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's jump right on in, and then of course, what's his name? Who we got tonight?
Our guest?
Yes, who's our guest?
We will be joined tonight by Seth. I think it's Kizer. I think that's how you pronounce it. Or
Okay.
Kizer. I'm actually not sure.
We're just going to go with Kizer. That works.
Yeah. It's Keysor, and he is a film analyst for the Athletic Kansas City.
Cool deal. So he'll be calling in here at the end of the show, so y'all be sure to tune in for that. And as always, me and Tanner are going to start things off. So here we go right into the AFC West. So let me ask you this, Tanner. Obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs won the division last year. Alex Smith is gone. Things are changed in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes now going to be taking over. Do the Chiefs still win this division next year?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to go with a big no.
Okay, so who do you think is going to come up and take it from the Chiefs?
I think they've improved on offense this year. They've added Sammy Watkins. I think that's going to be a big help to them. But I feel like their offensive line downgraded this year with the loss of Zach Fulton. And I also think that the defense took a step back. They lost some key pieces. They lost some veteran leadership with Derek Johnson. He's been there for a really long time. Marcus Peters is in LA now. And Tamba Ali is gone as well. So this is a younger-looking defense. They are getting Eric Berry back. That's going to be a big plus. But I wasn't real excited about their draft. They went defense with all 5 picks that they had, so that's obviously a huge area of concern for them. The defensive backfield just doesn't excite me. Marcus Peters is gone. They brought in Kendall Fuller with the Alex Smith trade from Washington. He's a good player, by far their best corner. And David Amerson, it looks like he'll be the corner across from him. So the defense isn't anything exciting for me. I feel like they're taking a step back. And I feel like the rest of the AFC teams in that division took a step forward this year. So I feel like the KC offense is going to have to put up, 21, 24 points a game this year to be competitive.
Yeah. And so sticking with that theme, what is your expectation for Pat Mahomes?
That's tough. I guess I never ran any numbers. I think he's going to have a learning curve. He's going to struggle a little bit because, he only has 1 start under his belt, so don't expect him to have a 25 touchdown, only like 10 interception season. I think it'll be somewhere in the realm of 20 touchdowns and probably around 10 to 15 picks. I mean, he's got a big arm. He's going to be able to stretch the field, but he's also going to take a lot more chances than what Alex Smith did. Alex Smith was the true definition of a game manager. So the turnover ratio was always low. I expect it to be higher this year with Pat Mahomes.
Okay. All right, so this is always a fun question for you. Offensive and defensive rookie of the division.
Yeah, the offensive one's kind of easy. I'm going with Royce Freeman, the running back out of Denver.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to step in and be the day one starter for them right away. And I think he's going to get a lot of touches, probably get 20 to 30 touches a game. So I expect him to put up a lot of fantasy points. And it just seems like a sure fit thing for me that he'll be the offensive rookie of the AFC West. The defense is a little bit harder. I was choosing between Derwin James, the safety for the Chargers, and Bradley Chubb, the new linebacker going across from Von Miller in Denver. I really wanted to pick Bradley Chubb because I think he's going to have a monster year. He's pro ready to come in right now, and he could easily have 10 sacks in his first season. But I have to go with Derwin James just because I was a big Derwin James was like my draft crush this year. He was like my favorite player coming out, and I love his leadership.
This is blasphemy. Chubb was like the second best player in the draft.
No, not true.
I think he was behind Saquon Barkley.
No, Barkley and Quentin Nelson were top two for sure. Bradley Chubb's a top 5 talent. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think he's top 2. Where was I?
Talking some blasphemy about how Bradley Chubb's not going to be the defensive rookie in the division.
Derwin James is going to be in contention for rookie of the year, not just in this division. It's going to be terrific. He can play all 4 spots for the Chargers. Come in day one, and he's their new emotional veteran presence. Or he's not a veteran, but he can be that emotional leader that they've needed in the secondary for a long time. I just think he's going to be the safety there for the next 10 years. He's the new Eric Weddle.
Okay. All right. Y'all, don't throw tomatoes too hard at Tanner. He's just saying what he feels.
The Chargers are like, they're like my second favorite team.
I mean, okay, all right.
I love Phillip Rivers.
I do like Phillip Rivers. All right, so this is going to be a fun question. Let's go ahead and we'll do our weekly breakout player of each team.
Let's do it.
All right, so let's start with.
You go first.
Okay, you want me to go first?
Yeah.
All right, we'll start with the Oakland Raiders. Breakout player for the Oakland Raiders, and I am going with none other than Martavis Bryant.
Oh, okay.
Tell
me why.
What's that?
Tell me why.
I think that this is going to be a fresh start for Martavis. Look, I don't think there's no one denying Martavis's talent, and if he can lay off the weed long enough to show his skill set and not be suspended, that'll go a long ways. But I think that Derek Carr is going to have a bounce back year. I think that John Gruden is one of the better offensive minds that the sport has ever seen. He's going to get creative. What's that?
He hasn't coached in years.
I know, but he studied the game for 10 years while he was doing Monday Night Football. He still breaks down plays. The man still knows how to draw up an offensive play, and he is going to get every bit out of Amari Cooper, Jordan Nelson, and Martavis Bryant. Dude, that is a deadly wide receiver.
The only two plays that he has in that Oakland playbook is feed the ball to Marshawn Lynch up the middle and Spider 2 Y banana. That's it.
Okay. We'll see.
Those are the only two plays.
We'll see. You want to know? You want
That
to
was
know
supposed
who?
to be. That was supposed to be a joke, but you didn't think it was funny.
No, I didn't. You know who
Oh,
would be an interesting pick here, but I didn't pick him for a couple reasons. One being they're a rookie.
For the Raiders, don't. Oh wait, for the Raiders.
Yeah,
Okay, it's not a rookie, so let me hear it.
I kind of think Arden Key is a intriguing. Uh,
Oh yeah,
you know, I don't know if you can
I
really
completely
count
forgot that.
count. I mean, I don't. He's a rookie, so I don't know if he can really count as a breakout player. But I think he's real interesting as somebody who's going to have high impact on this team.
How about Maurice Hurst?
Okay, tell me about it.
I was just saying you named a rookie. I'm naming one too. He was a first round talent,
Yeah,
top 30 talent in the draft this year, and the Raiders got him in the fifth round.
yeah.
He's going to be a day one starter, three technique, and he's going to see a lot of one-on-one matchups. I think. Actually, no, he won't. Khalil Mack will. Khalil Mack could have a huge year because of Maurice Hurst. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I think the Raiders D line will be much better this year.
Oh, absolutely. Now, if they can get better cornerback play this year, they'll be doing a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, who's your breakout player for the Raiders?
Are you ready for this one?
Don't say
I had
Jordan
a hard time.
Nelson.
I almost went Martavis Bryant myself, but I'm not going to. It was either Ryan Switzer
Okay.
or I'm gonna go with Doug Martin.
Ooh, that's an interesting one.
Marshawn Lynch is in the back half of his career. I think he'll see a lot more limited touches this year, and I think him and Doug Martin will be, thunder and lightning. It's gonna be exciting.
If Doug Martin
And
can stay out of trouble.
yeah, well, I don't know. He checked himself into rehab and stuff. At least he's trying.
Yeah.
So I mean, they have a terrific offensive line. Donald Penn, Kelechi Osemele, Rodney Hudson, Gabe Jackson. They have solid starters all the way across the front. So one of those backs should easily get 1,000 yards this year. And I don't think Doug Martin will get 1,000 yards, but I could easily see him, 700 yards, 8 touchdowns, something like that.
Yeah.
That's my breakout player this year for the Raiders.
Okay. All right. So now let's move over to the LA Chargers breakout player. Look, I'm with you. I like the Chargers, and I'm sitting here and I'm looking at their team. Yesterday when I was kind of getting prepared for the podcast, and I started
This should be an
noticing.
easy pick, Chris.
What's that?
This should be an easy pick.
Oh no, I just gonna explain something. I've got my pick, but there is so much talent on this team, and I don't know if people really realize it. I mean, Melvin Ingram, Joey Bosa, Melvin Gordon, Keenan Allen, Phillip Rivers. I mean,
Casey Hayward.
Casey. Yeah, I mean, this is Jason Verrett. I mean, this is just a legitimate.
Did you say Melvin Gordon?
I did say Melvin Gordon. Yep. Um, this is just a really good freaking team that they've put together over in LA. And so, anyways, my breakout player though is going to be. Are you ready for this?
It's probably the same as mine.
I don't know. I'm going tight end Hunter Henry.
Chris. Oh my God. Chris.
What?
Make another pick.
Why?
Because Hunter Henry's going to be watching from the sidelines this year.
Oh, that's right. He tore his ACL. Oh my God! How did I forget that?
We should just edit that part out.
No, we're totally leaving it in there. God, I forgot about that.
This is awkward silence. While you think about making another player, I'll make the obvious choice here. I'm going to go with Mike Williams. I like him to succeed Tyrell Williams as the number 2 wideout this year across from Keenan Allen. He couldn't play last year, obviously, because he wasn't healthy. And he was the top receiver coming out in his class. So I like him being the guy this year for Phillip Rivers. We get a lot of targets.
Oh
You want
my!
to go with Virgil Green?
What's that?
That's the next tight end. Henry.
I'm going Geno Smith.
Oh my goodness.
Duh, I completely forgot that Hunter
Well,
Henry tore his ACL. Completely forgot about that.
I'm glad I
Godly.
caught you.
What's that?
This would be an awkward show. This would be an awkward show.
Look, man, I, g- I got I got a full-time job. It's hard to keep track of all this crap. But we really spent like,
Well, that'll happen.
what's that?
That'll happen in the off season.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
And what's crazy is I think we spent like
It's all good, man.
what's crazy is I think we spent like 20 minutes talking about Hunter Henry's ACL tear when it happened too.
Yeah, because I thought they were going to bring Antonio Gates back,
That's right.
which they still could.
Yeah. Oh,
Even though he's old as
okay.
shit.
All right, Denver Broncos breakout player. I promise I'm not going to pick someone who's on IR this year.
Oh, you want me to pick?
Yeah, I want you to pick. Please say Marquette King.
Okay, I'll go first. Denver Broncos breakout player this year is going to be
Marquette
Jake
King.
Butt.
Ah. Did you just pick him because you like his name?
I mean, he does have a funny last name, and it's very unique. But I don't know. I think he would have been their tight end one last year. But that's another player like Mike Williams that didn't play the entire season. And I think he'll be the starter after training camp. I think he's going to see a lot of targets in that offense. He's a really good receiver. And Case Keenum likes his tight ends. Kyle Rudolph had a career year last year. Why can't Jake Butt have a good year?
Mm-hmm.
Your turn. They don't have anybody on IR, so you're safe.
All right, I'm going with quarterback Peyton Manning.
That is a total Chris pick.
No, for real though, I am going a quarterback. I'm going Case Keenum. I'm going out on a limb, and I'm going to say that.
You think he's gonna have a good year?
What's that?
You think he's gonna have a good year?
I think I'm going to go out on.
Because I'm gonna hold you to this.
I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say that last year was not an abomination, and Case Keenum has turned a corner in his career, and he is going to have a good year.
Okay.
So, all the Vikings fans that have hated me for all my hot takes recently love me again now. It's all good. All right, so now we're going to move up. What's that?
We got one team left.
Yeah, Kansas City. Who you going?
Sammy Watkins.
Okay.
Sammy Watkins.
Okay.
I read today or yesterday, I can't remember what day it was, that the Chiefs, I mean, I love Andy Reid for this, but it sounds like they're using him in the offense the same way that they've been using Tyreek Hill. Lots of reverses and stuff. I mean, he's a quick, fast player, so get the ball in his hands and let him do his thing. So I think Sammy Watkins is going to have a huge year if he can stay healthy.
Okay. And yeah, I'm with you. I love the Sammy Watkins to Kansas City, so that's who I had picked as well. So
yeah.
Can I tell you a fun fact? Did you know that Chad Henne was still in the league?
Yeah, he's the backup for or does he not have a team right now?
Oh, he's on a team. He's on the Kansas City.
Give me a second here.
He's on Kansas City.
Oh, is he in Kansas City?
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say the Colts for some reason. I don't know why.
Like I thought thought he retired like forever ago.
He's not that old.
I know, but I just feel like I haven't heard his name in forever.
Oh yeah, he had a few bad starts and you just never seen the field again.
Yeah,
that'll happen.
Yeah. All right. So now let's move into. So one last question before we end our talk on the division here. How do you see the division shaping out?
Do you want to go first on this, or should I?
I mean, I'll go first if you want me to.
No,
Uh,
I better go first. No, no, I'll go first. Okay,
okay.
this
You
is
go
going to be a really
first.
competitive division. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
The LA Chargers are going to win the division
Okay.
at 10-6.
Okay.
The Broncos are going to come in second at 9-7. Defense is still really good, and the offense will be improved this year. They're going to compete in a lot of games. Kansas City Chiefs 7-9. Patrick Mahomes have a small learning curve. Defense took a step back. Raiders finished last at 6-10 before they moved to Vegas. All right,
Man, no love for my boy Chucky, huh?
Chucky.
John Gruden.
Why the hell do you call him Chucky?
Because he looks like the freaking.
Oh,
He looks like the freaking Chucky doll.
what?
The movie.
He doesn't even have red hair.
Yeah, he does.
John Gruden has blonde hair.
It's like strawberry blonde.
Well, you're like colorblind. You slept too long today. All right, tell me what you got. As long as the Raiders aren't the top of the division, I'll believe what you say.
All right, so I have the Oakland Raiders winning the division 16-0. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm having fun tonight, man. I'm trying to make you laugh, and you're
Really?
not. You're not laughing.
That's because that's not real.
No, so I agree. I think the San Diego Chargers are going to win, but I have them going 11-5 instead of 10-6.
Los Angeles Chargers,
What'd I say?
San Diego,
Oh,
like you did last year.
yeah. It is what it is. The Chargers. I have them going 11-5. Coming in second place, uh, I have the Oakland Raiders coming in at second at 9-7. The Denver Broncos coming in at third at 9-7. Only reason the Oakland Raiders had the head-to-head uh, win over them, so that's what put Oakland in number 2. And Kansas City, I have going 6-10.
Holy cow! Seth is gonna kill us. He's never gonna come on the show ever again.
Well, is what it is.
The thing with the Chiefs is like, I feel like I predict a bad record for them almost every year, and they always make me look dumb.
Yeah,
So I say 7-9. They'll probably end up being like 11-5 or something.
I
But
never would have expected them to be the last undefeated team last year, but hey, is what it
yeah,
is.
yep.
So, all right, cool. Well, let's now move into NFL news, notes, and other tidbits. Ooh.
News and notes.
Hold on. We got to talk about the. We got to talk about the two big ones.
Okay. Did your friend ever make it out of Janoris Jenkins' house?
You'll never make it out of Janoris Jenkins' house. Apparently, Janoris Jenkins' brother is going to be the fall guy for this, and he has now been charged with manslaughter.
William Jenkins Jr.
So, does anybody believe that his brother actually did it?
Well, Janoris actually wasn't even in the state, was he?
I mean, I don't know.
I actually don't know that for sure either, but I thought I read that somewhere. But he's probably guilty.
And then,
yeah.
And then the other big news of the week is obvious. Jameis Winston going to be suspended for the first 3 games. For he's gotten real rapey here lately, so there's that.
So it's New Orleans versus Ryan Fitzpatrick in Week 1. That'll be fun.
That'll be that'll be an exciting game for us to kick off the season.
Yeah. Good competition.
And Sean Payton hates Dirk Cutter, so I'm just curious how far he's going to run that score up on him Week 1.
Ooh, that's bold. What are you gonna do if they lose?
Who, the Saints lose?
Yeah,
Oh, that's not gonna happen.
I'm just asking you.
I mean, it's just not gonna happen. So we don't even have to. We don't have to think about it.
What if Drew Brees gets hurt?
Well, if Drew Brees gets hurt, bro, that's freaking Taysom Hill time,
Taysom Hill, baby.
dude. I can. If there's one thing that I'm looking forward to most in 2018, it is literally preseason Saints football because I'm gonna be like dissecting everything Taysom Hill does. I'm so freaking excited.
Well, you live such a extravagant life
Oh, I
watching
know.
Taysom Hill highlight tapes.
And then, of course, one other big piece of news is your boy Daniil.
Daniil, baby. 5
$72
years.
million freaking dollars.
40 million guaranteed, averaging out 16 million a year which is actually not that bad. If you look at like what compared to like some of the other DNs are getting paid in this league,
Yeah.
it's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but I think in 2 years it's not even going to be top 10 anymore. So he deserves it though. I'm telling you, dude. He's like 23 years old, and he's got like 30 sacks already. So when his contract is up, he's going to be 28. He'll still be in his prime.
Look, can you not be a Vikings fanboy right now? He does not have 30 sacks. He has 25 and a half.
Oh, 25 and a half. Okay. I thought it was like 28 and a half, actually. That was the
So you knew
realistic
you were
number I was
rounding
going.
up. See?
Yeah, I was.
See?
What do you want? You wanted me to give you an exact number?
That's that fandom
Somebody says
popping in right
28
there.
and a
That's that
half sacks.
fandom popping in right there.
Yeah, that's my bias because Daniil Hunter is the man.
Oh God. Okay.
He eats QBs.
Well, at least he's not real rapey like Jameis Winston is.
Yeah, touche.
All right.
What else you got?
I think that's all I have. What do you have?
Okay, I just got a few more tidbits. 49ers have extended guard Laken Tomlinson to a 3-year deal, $18 million. The Falcons signed former Chief safety Ron Parker yesterday to a 1-year deal. Ron Parker says he signed with them because he says they are this close to a championship. Tamba Ali says today that he is likely to retire from the NFL, but nothing has been confirmed yet. And lastly, got some sad news here for Chris.
Uh-oh.
You're going to have to take down your Twitter account.
Uh-oh.
NFL referee Gene Steratore is
know.
retiring after 15 seasons.
I know. It made me so
Poor Chris.
sad. That he was my favorite referee. Can we just? Can
he
we
was
just?
a pretty decent ref, but to be honest,
Can we
they
get
all
him?
sucked,
Can we
so.
get him to just ref a preseason game so he can bust out that index card one more time?
Can we get what?
Can we get him to just ref a preseason game so he can bust that index card out?
You should.
That's what I'm thinking.
I should give him a call.
Dude, did you see Jalen Ramsey say Jimmy Garoppolo isn't worthy to be in the top 100?
I did not see that, actually. I'm trying to think of a reason why I should agree with him, but I disagree.
And
definitely top 100.
We're still on the Julio Jones, Odell Beckham watch. Which one do you think is going to get signed first?
You know, that's really tough.
Because they're both.
I read that the Giants are nowhere near. I'm gonna say OBJ.
Do you think Julio's even going to get a new contract?
Yeah, I do. I think he'll be playing week 1, but I could definitely see him sitting out all training camp. Training camp is the time of the year where these things get pushed along further. So, like Aaron Donald's contract, that'll be done by the end of July.
And one more question.
A lot of this stuff because players want them in camp, or teams want the players in camp.
One more question before we get Seth on the line is I'm reading about this Aaron Rodgers contract. What do you think about the clause that if he is not one of the top paid quarterbacks, he can void his contract? That he's wanting
I'm
that put
cool
in.
with it. Yeah, I'm cool with it because Aaron Rodgers deserves to get whatever he wants put in his contract.
I agree, but and that's going to prevent this Julio Jones thing from happening to another player.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only reason why I brought it up, since we were talking about Julio. Thought that was a real interesting tidbit.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have anything else?
That's everything. Oh, actually, no. I do have one more. Since you brought up contracts, let me ask you this: true or false? Will Le'Veon Bell be on the field week 1?
No. False.
Oh gosh, we're gonna have to bring a Steelers guy on here before the season because I just thought of it after you brought those contracts up.
False.
And I was like, Le'Veon Bell said he's not playing under the franchise tag this year, and I haven't even seen anything about it in the news. So
false.
I don't know. He's not going to be at camp, and then people are going to freak out.
When we get to the AFC North, we'll definitely that'll be a conversation we talk about.
Okay, I am excited.
Which
All
I
right,
think
that's everything I got.
The North is the next.
We are doing the NFC North next week. Yes.
Yeah, and then we'll do the AFC North the week after that, right?
4 weeks left for the NFL preview.
Yeah.
We'll be in training camp.
Okay, cool. So we will go ahead. We will end the podcast there on that note. Be sure that you are following us on both Facebook and Twitter at All Pro Nation, and check us out on the YouTubes at All Pro Nation. We are still looking for people to join the All Pro Nation team. So if you're interested in becoming a writer or a podcast host, be sure to reach out to us at allpronation.com. You can hit the Contact Us tab. Football season starting off, so you want to be sure that you have a place where you can have a voice, where you can have your voice be heard. So be sure to do that. Be sure that you're checking out all the great episodes found right here on the All Pro Nation Radio Network. And I guess we'll call this a night, man. It's been a pleasure.
Seth coming up next.
That's it. So, all right. Well, y'all have a good week, and we will talk to y'all next week. Take care. Bye. All right, All Pro Nation family, and welcome back to the podcast. We have a special guest with us tonight. We have Seth Kizer with us. He covers the Kansas City Chiefs. Seth, how you doing, man?
I'm doing very well. How about yourself?
Oh, man, living the dream. Can't complain. Seth, why don't you real quick tell all the All Pro Nation listeners where they can find you at?
Sure. You can find me on Twitter at RealMN Chiefs fan, as in Minnesota Chiefs fan. And then my work is covering the Chiefs at The Athletic, KC. And so obviously we're a subscription site, but any of you who subscribe to The Athletic, which of course I've got to say you should, that's where you could find me at.
Awesome. So Seth, are you from Minnesota?
I am, yes. Okay. I lived in Kansas City for a few years during the Joe Montana era, and I caught the Chiefs sickness. But I've resided in Minnesota for the last decade or so.
Okay, so you're not a Vikings fan, but a Chiefs fan. Very interesting.
Right. My dad's a diehard Vikings fan, and he just had me living in Kansas City at the wrong time, I guess.
Right on. All right. Well, hey, let's jump right on in. So we're talking the AFC West. First, I got to ask you: the Chiefs obviously won the division last year. Do you see? Yep. Do you see that? And I know we're not even at training camp yet, but do you see the Chiefs able to hold on to the division? And if not, who do you think is going to be their biggest competition?
Sure. I think the Chiefs have a really good chance at winning for the third year in a row, and there's a few reasons for that. We can talk more about the Chiefs in a minute, but when you just look around the division, the Broncos, you saw their defense take a step backwards without Wade Phillips, which is to be expected. He's the best in the business. Now they've lost Talib. They're just slowly bleeding talent from that Super Bowl winning defense, and they just don't have a coordinator like Phillips to staunch the bleeding. Case Keenum's a better quarterback than they had last year, but I'm not a non-fan of Case Keenum, but I definitely don't fear him, is how I would phrase that.
Right on.
The Chargers are a very talented team, but just last year I finally started to believe that they're cursed. Before the season, people were saying that to me, right? Like, oh no, it'll be fine. I was like, oh no, there's no such thing as curses. And then like 8 of their guys got hurt again, and so they've got a real scary defense, and Phillip Rivers will apparently never stop being a decent quarterback, no matter how dead his arm is. But
Right.
I can't fear them. And the Raiders, I don't know what they're doing. So I think that part of it is just the division is not quite as scary and talented as a lot of people thought it was to start the season last year.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so my next question is obviously with Kansas City,
Yes.
the biggest storyline of the offseason was the Alex Smith trade and ushering in the Patrick Mahomes era. Um,
hmm
what can we expect from Patrick Mahomes' first year as the starter?
It depends on who you talk to, right? There are some people who really believe that he is going to take the league by storm and just come right out of the gates swinging. There are some people who believe that he's going to be an interception machine and really struggle, and then there's people that fall in between. I have a tendency to be pretty optimistic about him. A big part of my job is film review, and I've reviewed all of Mahomes' college film. I've reviewed his lone start probably 500 times at this point. And you review his preseason snaps, and one thing that I noticed about him is he improved drastically in terms of footwork and some of these other little things that he needed to improve coming out of college. If you watch his preseason tape and then watch his start in week 17, you see a drastic improvement in
Yeah,
some of those smaller technical things. And that really leads you to believe that he's a coachable, sharp guy, which was really the major question with him, because no one questions his arm talent. No one questions that he's a gamer or a gunslinger. It was, can he work on his weaknesses? And I think we've seen a little of that. So I expect him, when you look at how good the offense was the majority of the season last year, and how well Andy Reid can scheme things for his quarterbacks traditionally, and with the addition of Watkins, they didn't really lose anyone. They've got a lot of continuity on offense. I think he'll do well. The expectations are really getting up there, though.
They're
The hype
high.
train is in full. Oh man,
yeah,
they are. It was just Chiefs fans, and now you kind of like, there was an article in the Ringer that Danny Kelly wrote that he's on the hype train. Lewis Riddick, and Pete Prisco. So a lot of these national guys are starting to sit up and take notice as well. And I really think he's going to come out. I think he's going to come out very strong. There'll be some growing pain games, I think. Like you look at a team like Jacksonville, or a team that can actually maybe match up with the Chiefs in terms of individual talent. They might give them some trouble, but I think he's going to have a very good season.
yeah, and
Yeah.
as a Louisiana native, I'm a huge Saints fan, so I'll still never forget the Saints. For sure, we're going to be taking Mahomes when Kansas City decided to trade
Sorry.
up one spot ahead of us to grab him. So I'm a little
Right.
salty, but I'll get over it. uh,
Right. Well, and that's one of those things that makes you confident in Mahomes. The farther we get away from the draft, Sean Payton knows quarterbacks.
right.
Everyone knows that.
Mhm.
And everyone knows that Andy Reid knows quarterbacks. And I don't think it's a coincidence that both of those guys wanted him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and he's got the arm, and so I mean, he seems to have a lot of the tangibles that you want out of a quarterback, and so now it's putting it all together and getting it to relate onto the field for sure.
Mhm.
Let me ask you this though. Alex Smith. Me personally, I think Alex Smith always throughout his career has kind of gotten the raw end of the deal. I think he's been a better quarterback than people really want to give him credit for. Um,
Mhm.
first off, would you agree with that, or do you disagree?
I would agree by and large, although there's a segment of Chiefs fans, and they're more like Alex Smith fans because they kind of followed him from San Francisco. There's a segment of Alex Smith fans that think he's a top 3 quarterback.
No.
So those guys are a little out there for me.
Yeah.
But I do think he's been underrated by and large for a lot of his career.
Right.
At least post 2011 or so.
Yeah, absolutely. But for as good as Alex Smith has been able to do things, he clearly had weaknesses. What do you think Mahomes brings to the table that Alex Smith couldn't?
Sure. I think the shortest way to say it would be two separate things: eye level and post snap reads. Alex Smith was a brilliant pre-snap read quarterback. That's one reason why the Chiefs ran one of the slowest offenses in the league the last 3 or 4 years. They gave Alex as much time as possible to diagnose the defense pre-snap, wait till the last second to force them to reveal disguises, that kind of thing. But post-snap, if things didn't go like he expected, he would struggle to an extent. And so I what I kind of like is the idea of a quarterback. Andy Reid can run such an efficient offense that he'll win, right? About 80% of the time. Andy Reid's offensive design will create a relatively easy opportunity. What you want is a guy who can be the rising tide who lifts all ships that 20% of the time. And so post-snap reads are something Mahomes happens to do very well.
Yeah.
He's very good at calmly going through progressions. And additionally, his eye level and pocket presence seems to be superior when under pressure. And so those post-snap things, so, this is the hope for Chiefs fans, right, is that it's a perfect symbiosis in that Andy Reid and Alex Smith's weaknesses at times tended to, you could see it in the Titans playoff game. They tended to hurt one another more, right? It was almost exponentially worse because their weaknesses overlapped.
Right.
Where the hope is, so the hope is that Mahomes' strengths counteract Reid's few weaknesses as an offensive coach, and then it all works out well. So that's what I would say, that ability to go through Reid's post-snap and maintain an eye level with kind of a clearer head in the pocket rather than dropping his eyes and taking off like Alex Smith was prone to do.
Yeah. All right, man, let's switch sides of the ball here. We're going to talk some defense. I got to ask you.
Yes.
Marcus Peters is gone. He's in LA now. Derek Johnson's been there for 10 years. He's gone.
Yep.
Tamba Ali is gone. All those vets are gone.
Yep.
How do you expect the defense to perform this year?
That's anyone's guess. There's been a massive overhaul, which, to be fair, the defense, whether you look at it by defensive yards or by the statistic I prefer is Football Outsiders, DVOA, they had a rotten defense last year. It was bad. And so an overhaul is a good thing in that sense. The Marcus Peters trade caught me by surprise like it did everyone else.
You're surprised. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I was surprised in that it seemed like a lot of smoke but no fire, just because the idea of trading him I didn't until someone finally said something to me barely before it happened. Someone was like, "No, seriously, this might happen." Someone who I trust. Mm-hmm. And so I had 3 minutes to prepare myself for it. And it was a surprise because I would say on the Chiefs defense last year, you had 3 players who played well. And that would have been Chris Jones, Justin Houston, and Marcus Peters. Mm-hmm. And then Reggie Ragland down the stretch played pretty well also. Other than that, the defense was kind of a disaster. I mean, Derek Johnson was one of my all-time favorite Chiefs. He's been around since 2006. Love the guy. But he lost about 3 steps last year.
Yeah.
And you could see, to do my other job, the pastoring, the spirit was willing, but the flesh was weak. It's
a good way to put it.
He just couldn't close. And he still would make some really good splash plays because he was so smart. He was such a leader on the defense, but he was just slow. And Tamba Ali last year, I think the most snaps he played in the game was 20 or so, and he missed half the season. He just couldn't stay on the field. So Johnson and Ali are more – Johnson, to be honest, and I hate saying stuff like this, he was a below-average player last year. And so I think going from him to Anthony Hitchens is actually going to be an upgrade because Hitchens can play. As far as Tamba Ali goes, that's going to be essentially a nothing burger because he barely played last year. So it's a lot of change in terms of names, but the only one that really hurts, in my opinion, is losing Peters, and hopefully – Kendall Fuller is everything that the team believes him to be, to where that can somewhat offset that loss.
Yeah. All right, let's go a little broader here with the AFC West.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take a look at the rookies within the division. Could you pick the top offensive rookie in the division? Who do you think it's going to be this year? If you had to pick one player.
If I had to pick one player, trying to, of course I should remember this off the top of my head. I'm trying to remember who all even got took, because defensive player is going to be easy.
Me and Chris were going through it. My pick was Royce Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, yeah. Chris didn't do one, so I just did one myself. But Royce Freeman was definitely the one that caught mine. But Cortland Sutton is out there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of them, offensive linemen. The Chiefs obviously have no one. All 5 of their draft picks are defense. And the Raiders,
right, yeah, they yep.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, you could tell they identified the problem.
yeah. So, and then the Raiders, Colton Miller is obviously their top guy. So they had a lot of their picks for defense too.
Right. As I think about it, the names you said do make a lot of sense. It was such for the entire AFC West, it was a fairly defensive centric draft, which is kind of crazy. I mean, that's just how that goes. I would probably go with Sutton. That seems like the most logical pick for me.
I like that pick. I'm just concerned about him seeing the field with Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders there.
Right.
But I like that pick a lot, though. I think he's going to be a great player for a long time. So, on the defensive end of the ball,
I hope not. Not for. No offense to him, but I hope not.
Yeah, on your end, probably don't want that to happen. But on the defensive end of the ball, we have a few more players to choose from. Honestly, I think that it comes down to the top 2 guys, Derwin James and Bradley Chubb. Chris went with Bradley Chubb, and I went with Derwin James. Who do you think? Or is there another player that could surprise us maybe?
In my opinion, it comes down to those 2 for sure. It's tough for me. Chubb is going into such a good situation, rushing on the opposite side of Miller, and Wolf is there too. That's just a great situation to go into, and I think he's an incredibly talented player. And so, as much as I like Derwin James, and as James started to fall, Chiefs fans started to be like, man, a little life insurance fans of. Yeah, a lot of teams, I think, a lot of fans started to say, man, we should trade up because this guy seems like a stud. Yeah. And I think he'll do real well because there's so much talent in San Diego. Yeah. But I just think the situation and then Chubb's talent, I think he's a slightly higher level player overall at his position than James is at his. And I think being able to be almost the third fiddle to start off is going to really do him a lot of good. So I think it's going to be Chubb.
Okay. All right, man, we'll run through these real quick. It doesn't have to be a rookie. If you want it to be a rookie, it can be. But I'm going to go through each team in the division. I want you to pick one player from each team that you think is going to have a breakout season that nobody's expecting. We'll start with the Chiefs.
With the Chiefs, no one's expecting it because people are anticipating it. But I think Sammy Watkins is going to end up leading the receivers in targets and have a big season. They seem to, there you go. They seem to love him. And Hill is a very good receiver in his own right, but he might have a more specific use, and his singular talent for being as fast as he is, it might actually, in a weird way, even if he does work on his route running, and he got better last year, so I assume he'll keep getting better. But even if he continues to work on that route running, when you're that dangerous going deep, and you force defenses to account for you that much, why would they send anyone else?
Absolutely.
And so I think it might limit what he does a little bit, and I think Watkins is going to be the beneficiary of that. And so Watkins is definitely my guy with the Chiefs.
Okay. Let's move on over to Denver. Who you got there?
Interestingly enough, you talk about Sutton getting on the field with Sanders and Thomas. I actually would pick him to be a genuine breakout player. And the reason for that is, and this sounds bad, I have no logical film analyst reasons for saying this, but I really don't. I wish I did. But I just don't necessarily like Thomas's fit with Case Keenum. No real reason for it. I just don't like it. And every year I see Thomas, I've just never been terribly impressed with him. And so maybe that's coming through.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm
so
with you there, though.
Yeah.
He's never really been one of my favorite players.
Right. He has some things that he's very good at, but he just never has impressed me that much. I think Sutton's incredibly talented, and I think he's got a chance. And plus, it's a 3-receiver league these days.
Yeah.
And so I think he'll get plenty of chances, and I think the talent comes through. And Keenum, although I don't, like I said, I don't fear him, Keenum will give his receivers opportunities to make plays. He is. I said this to a Vikings fan buddy of mine. I like Case Keenum. He's got really good pocket presence, which is important. And he can spin a good ball, but he throws more close your eyes and heave the ball down the field shots per game than any other quarterback I've ever watched. It's like 4 or 5 times a game. It's like, oh, Case, what are you doing?
He's got a lot of yellow balls.
He does. And, hey, with guys like Thielen and Diggs, why wouldn't you? And so I think that could work out with Thomas and Sutton and Sanders too, but I think Sutton will do real well with him.
Sure. All right, let's move over to Oakland. Who you got for the Raiders?
Again, this is almost like a cheating one in a sense, but I think a lot of people are down on Amari Cooper because he's had a weird career.
So far,
yeah. And he's an interesting guy to watch on film a little bit. Man, no one can cover him. He's a great route runner. And he's got explosiveness, but man, his hands, you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so I think he just ended up getting the yips a little bit last year. And so I see him really turning it around this year. I've always liked him. And I think he's the one who turns it around, even as Derek Carr continues to underwhelm.
Okay. We'll finish up with the Chargers. Who you got in LA?
I think, Mike Williams obviously got injured last year. Well, they already lost their tight end. I'm telling you, the Chargers, their curses are real.
Yeah.
It's just a thing with them. And
We're-
so I would say Mike
we're not
Williams.
gonna. We don't want to talk about the tight end that they lost.
We were going through our picks, and Chris picked Hunter Henry, and I was like, Chris,
Oh, wow.
let's try this again.
I completely forgot that he tore his ACL. It's like, oh, God.
Yeah. And he can play too. That
Yeah,
was a
he
rough
can.
thing. But I'd say their breakout guy, I would say Mike Williams. I think he's going to get some really good opportunities in that offense, provided Rivers' arm doesn't finally fall off.
Yeah, he was my guy as well. I like him to succeed. Tyrell Williams this year as wide receiver 2 on that team. So we'll finish up here. One last question for you. It's the end of June. We're not even in training camp yet. It's very early. But
Right.
I have to ask you, how do you see the AFC West shaping out in 2018? Who's going to win it? Second, third, fourth.
I see the Chiefs winning it. I see the Broncos making the playoffs as a wild card team. And I see the Raiders winning about 6 games. I see the Chargers winning about 7 or 8.
Okay.
That's right on
All right,
par with
man.
what Tanner thinks.
No.
Great minds.
What are you
Great
talking
minds.
about?
No, I thought that's what you had.
Chris.
Maybe I was wrong.
I have the Chargers. I have the Chargers winning the division,
Oh,
unfortunately.
that's
I know you don't like to hear that, Seth, but
Oh, that's fine. A lot of people really like them. I've just seen them predicted to win so many times in the last 5 years, and they never do.
Mhm.
I just feel like their defense was already pretty good last year. And now they've added Derwin James. And I think as long as the people on offense can stay healthy, I think they're going to be a good team this year. So we'll see.
Yeah, I absolutely could see it.
Yeah.
So.
So, well, all right, Seth. We sure do appreciate you. One more time, if you want to throw out that Twitter handle so the fans can connect with you.
Sure, you can find me at RealMN Chiefs fan.
Cool deal. Y'all go follow Seth. Be sure when you do that you tweet at him that All Pro Nation, that you heard about him on the All Pro Nation podcast. Seth, we sure do appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time, man. And we hope to have you back again someday soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks,
absolutely.
Seth. Appreciate
Take care.
it.